Ninth class Social Studies, Hyderabad, Telangana syllabus, second lesson, the natural realm of the earth. Let's start our second digital lesson, Social Studies 2020-2021. Second chapter, the natural realm of the earth. Introduction. The earth scientists usually talk of four natural realms on the earth. Realms are the areas which have some common features. These are lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Let's discuss about the first natural realm of the earth, that is lithosphere. It is the solid crust or the hard top part of the earth. It is made up of rocks and covered with a thick layer of soil. In Greek, litho means stone or rock and sphera means sphere or ball. It is not a smooth surface as you can see on the globe, but it has high mountains, plateaus or highlands, low plains, deep valleys, and very deep basins which are filled with water. Many of these features are shaped by wind and water. Portions of this crust in the form of dust etc. are mingled with air too. Let's discuss about the second natural realm of the earth, that is hydrosphere. The realm of water is called hydrosphere. It comes from a Greek word hydra, meaning water. Some parts of the water is found deep down under the earth among rocks. Groundwater or mineral water. It comprises of different types of water bodies like rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans, etc. Let's discuss about the third natural realm of the earth, that is atmosphere. The thin layer of air that surrounds the earth is atmosphere. This is the thin layer of air that surrounds the earth is atmosphere. It derives from a Greek word atmos, means vapor. It consists of large number of gases including oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapors and dust particles, etc. Let's discuss about the fourth natural realm of the earth, biosphere. The realm of life including bacteria which live high on the atmosphere or deep oceans constitute the biosphere. It derives from the Greek word bios, means life. Life needs the presence of all the three realms, land, water and air. Lithosphere. What kinds of questions do you think would be answered in this section? How does it rain? Why are there mountains? How do the winds blow? How do volcanoes erupt and earthquakes occur? Why are there valleys and gorges along the rivers? How are deltas formed? The questions which we are going to answer under lithosphere is: why are there mountains? How do volcanoes erupt and earthquake occur? Why are there valleys and gorges along the river? And how are deltas formed? Landforms. The first order landform. Lithosphere deals with the land we live upon. As you saw in the last chapter, the crust of the earth is uneven. The very low basins are now filled with oceans and then there are continents. These are known as first order landforms or the primary divisions of the earth's crust into ocean and continent. The surface of the continent is not even. They have plains, lowlands, plateaus, and high mountains. These are also, in a way, as a result of the internal processes of the earth. These landforms, like mountains, plains, and plateaus, are called second order landforms. Let's discuss about the jigsaw puzzle and the moving plates. We saw how many continents look like pieces of jigsaw puzzle and how the scientists thought that in the beginning probably all continents were held together and how they broke up and gradually drifted and come to their present places. After years of careful study, geologists have concluded that all the continents and oceans are actually situated on a massive base of rocks called plates. There are about six major plates on the Earth and several minor ones. The major plates are African, North American, South American, Indo-Australian, Antarctic, Eurasian, and Pacific plates. Among the minor plates are the Nazca and Arabian plates. What are special about these plates? These plates float on the mantle. They are constantly being pushed and therefore keep moving slowly. The region where the two plates meet and push each other, a lot of pressure is exerted by each of them on the other. One plate is pushed under the mantle while the other plates push up to form a chain of mountains. This movement is called plate tectonics. Let's discuss about sea floor spreading. Geologists studying the crust under the sea have discovered that under some oceans, like Pacific Ocean, there are mid-ocean ridges. These are formed by lava rising from the mantle. The eruption on the ridges create new ocean floor made of basalt rocks. The mid-ocean ridges contain the newest crust formed on the planet. This fresh crust is being slowly pulled away from the ridges, widening the ocean basin called seafloor spreading. This is mid-ocean ridges, which is creating a new floor, which is widening the ocean basins called seafloor spreading. Seafloor spreading, drama at the margins. The margins of the plates or the boundaries where the plates meet are highest geologic activity. If you see the margins of the plate where one plate is meet with another, often the incoming plate dips under the stable plate and goes into the mantle of the earth. The plate thus going into the mantle actually pulls the rest of the plates with it. This in turn pulls the newly formed sea floor near the ocean ridges. Let's discuss formation of the Himalayas. The Indian plate on which the Deccan Plateaus of South India rides pushes the Eurasian plate and goes under it just where the Himalayan mountains are. In fact, the Himalayan mountains were formed by this process of the Indian plate pushing the Eurasian plate. Let's discuss about the slow movement and sudden movement. There are two kinds of changes in lithosphere. First, the very slow movement leading to the formation of the crust, movement of the continental plate, and the eventual return to the mantle. Second, the sudden and dramatic eruption of volcanoes and earthquakes. The sudden movements can be destructive and cause much damage. Let's discuss volcanoes. Volcanoes are places on the Earth's surface where molten material from the mantle erupts on the Earth's surface. This molten material is also accompanied by steam, smoke, and various forms of gases from the depth of the Earth. It spread out in the atmosphere, while the molten material cool and form hard rocks called igneous rocks. Some part of the lava may not reach the surface and may cool inside the earth and become rocks. These are intrusive landforms. A part of the lava which pours on the surface of the earth forms extrusive landforms. Let's discuss about the Pacific Ring of Fire. For many decades, geologists noted the high number of earthquake and volcanic activities occurring around the Pacific Ring. About 3 by 4 of the all active volcanoes and earthquakes occur in the world lie within the Pacific Rim, giving it the name Pacific Ring of Fire. Let's discuss about the external processes. External forces like water and air are working vigorously to wear away the surface of the rocks and mountains. Then they transport the worn out particles and deposit them in lowlands and basins. The process of wearing away and deposition causes a general leveling of the surface. You can see this shaping of wind and water are called third order landforms by geographers. These landforms including the features like carved mountains, valleys, deltas, sand dunes, etc. Processes like weathering, erosion, transportation, and deposition are largely responsible for these landforms. It is known as denudation process. Landform keep changing due to denudation activities. This is nothing but denudation process where you can find the weathering, erosion and deposition. Let's discuss about the work of water. The work of a river begins from high mountains. The flow of a river is very swift as it descends the steep slopes, and it exerts a great force in cutting the mountains vertically. As a result, a deep valley develops, narrow at the bottom and wider at the top. This is usually called a V-shaped valley. In this stage, water has such force that it can move even very heavy and hard rocks, and the landforms due to water and wind is island, canyon, rivers, marshes, waterfall, etc. Let's discuss formation of floodplains. As the river enters the plain, the slope is gentle and the river also slows down. Now it does not have the force to carry heavy particles and it deposits them on its bank. A layer of sediment is thus deposited during each flood, gradually building up a fertile floodplain. In its floodplain, the rivers form meanders, gentle turn like snake. In due course of time, the meander loops cut off from the river and forms a cut-off lake called Oxbow Lake. Let's discuss work of glaciers. A glacier is a slow moving of mass of ice. Glacier erodes through a process called plucking in which it lifts up pieces of rocks and transport them. These pieces of rocks and moving Ice together act like a sandpaper on the surface of the rock over which they flow. Just like a sandpaper removes small particles of the wood, the glacier acts as an abrasive and erodes the bedrock. Through this dual process of plucking and abrasion, glaciers create U-shaped valley. Let's discuss work of waves. As the sea waves continuously strike at the rock, cracks develop in them over time. Gradually, hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks. As these cavities become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain, thus forming sea arches. Further erosion breaks the roof, only the walls are left. These walls, like features, are called stacks. The steep, rocky, rising almost vertically above the sea water is called sea cliff. Let's discuss about work of wind. Strong winds carry sand and fine soil which strikes the large rocks. Mushroom rocks. Winds erode the lower section of the rocks more than the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrower bottom and wider top. It looks like mushroom, so it is called mushroom rocks. Let's discuss about Inselberg. Inselberg is actually the isolated residual hills rising abruptly from the ground are called Inselberg or island mountain. Let's discuss about work of wind. Due to weathering and persistent wind action, there is a large accumulation of fine sand in many deserts. These form sand dunes. These are unstable hills of sand which moves with a strong wind. Usually this is yellow in color and is very fertile. This soil is called loess. Loess is in fact fine loam, rich in lime, very coherent and extremely porous. The plains formed by the deposition of loess are called loess plain. Let's discuss action of vegetation and human beings. In what ways do you think vegetation, trees, plants and grass affect rocks? They contribute to the weathering of rocks by driving roots into fine cracks or holes in the rocks. They also enable water and moisture to enter into the rock, which further enable weathering. On the other hand, the plants or grass cover on soil prevent easy denudation or transportation of soil by wind and water.